Welcome back to a brand new episode of NH Unscripted. I am your happy to be out of bed host, Ray Dudley. I got the Nehru jacket on, my bell-bottom pants, and my platform shoes. Your job, kick back on the waterbed. Don't forget to turn the heater on. That's a little pro tip there. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios in Concord, 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. So, periodically, I get these emails, and I'm like, oh my God. And they're these beautiful, like sometimes delicate missives that come in. And I said, all right, I got to talk to Margherita about this. Good morning, Margherita Giacobbi.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very good. And, when I stepped into this beautiful studio, it was like, it feels good to be back. Thank you so much for inviting us back.
Oh, it's been so long. I know you're busy. I know you are. I cannot believe the amount of activity that takes place at the Players' Ring.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
Yes, it's a never-ending, relentless, joyful machine. We are a theater venue. We are a theater producer, and we literally bring to life from scratch 9 main stage productions every year.
It's
and
insane.
Then there's so much more, right?
Yeah,
that needs to happen behind the scenes.
I want you to know that I really do appreciate those emails.
Thank you.
They're like these little snapshots of what's taking place out there. And I don't know if it's just because as an actor, I know about the Players' Ring and all that goes on behind there, but they're just these quick little glimpses that it takes 5 seconds to read it, but it does my heart really good. And I mean that sincerely.
Thank you so much. And, you're not the only one to be so appreciative. I am sometimes shocked. I started to write these glimpses. That's exactly the name that I've given them. A year ago. Literally, at this point, it's 54 weeks ago. No one's counting, right?
No.
But sometimes I receive responses like, hey, Margherita, this was so cool. This is so interesting. This really touched me. And just for those of you out there who haven't received them, one thing is to receive a newsletter that tells you, come and, see this show, buy this ticket, donate. But my purpose behind these glimpses was really to show that, of course, as a patron, you step through the door, you sit down, have a fabulous time, hopefully, and then you leave. But you really don't know, unless you are an artist, like yourself, or part of the industry, of all the different components of our work, right? There's budgeting and financial concerns, and then there's the building itself, right? For those of you who don't know us, we inhabit this beautiful historic property.
Yes, you do.
But if you own even just a 50-year-old house, and ours is over 300 years old, you realize, oh my goodness, there's so much work that goes into it. And then there's the relationship with the artists. And we're not only talking about the actors, right, the cast, but also the creatives, the designers, all the choices and all the balance that needs to happen for this solution, this chemical solution to precipitate in the right way. So people love to discover kind of how the sausage is made. Is this the English expression?
It's a little cleaner than that, but yeah. Well, it's funny because it's not just, so I like it because I like to see who's auditioning, know, and I like to see what their mindsets are, who's thinking, what they're thinking of. But you forget that there are other things happening there behind the scenes that make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to have that little curtain kind of pulled back just a little bit. And you catch that of, that's why that works.
Yeah, and plus, you know what? We are such a small team.
Yeah.
So I think that when you read and understand everything that goes into the work, you really appreciate the work of nonprofit organizations or fellow theater organizations, what we do so that you can have a wonderful time when you do come to see a show.
So whenever I go to the show, it's funny, you have a wonderful demographic. They appreciate what happens there so much. And it's not, the thing I like about what happens at the Ring is it's not the canned stuff. I don't mean to hammer on like Annie and Music Man, that kind of stuff. but there's some really incredible, how do I put it? Things that make you think, things that
Yes.
make you pause. And every time I leave that theater, I feel like I've made friends. I don't care what show I've seen. There's just something about, it's like going out to a neighborhood cookout.
Yes.
You know?
Actually, you're probably paying us the biggest compliment that I am the most proud of when I hear other patrons say that. When they say, Margie, we left, I was with my friends or with my family, we left the show and we couldn't stop thinking about it and talking about it and kind of dissecting it. Like, what did that mean?
Yes.
Because, and I don't want to convey the message to our listeners that it's all heavy and hardcore and difficult and sad. No, there's a lot of levity and pure joy and entertainment. And also something else is that we really do not like to preach or to spoon feed, right? Concepts or learnings. Most of the times, it's very much open to your own interpretation.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of the stories that we love. And you can find incredible learning and messages and takeaways from big musicals, right? Or super notorious plays. But definitely our signature and what gets us going are these lesser known, sometimes brand new, like we're talking unpublished, right?
Right.
But sometimes, even if the actual plays have been published and maybe produced somewhere in Boston, in New York, in Europe, they are still pretty obscure, and you can count on the fact that our audience may not have the chance otherwise to get to see them.
Yeah, and I think the shows that go on there, your audience really appreciates. Like last year, I saw Waiting for Godot.
Yeah.
I saw The Man
Who Laughs.
Yes. Oh, are you kidding me? Wow.
So for the sake of our listeners, The Man Who Laughs was a completely original theatrical adaptation of a black and white silent movie from the 1920s. And sometimes we have to take a leap of faith because it's actually the artistic community that comes to us with proposals and said, listen, I have this idea. Can we present a silent movie experience in a live theater context? Is it possible? Can you think that you're watching a black and white silent movie while you're actually in a non-black and white, theater, sitting on red chairs? And to us, that's so exciting. And we feel so thrilled when artists entrust us with these kind of juicy experiments.
Yeah. I know they were a little nervous about how well it was going to be accepted or if people would accept it at all.
And people could understand. And so that's why, sometimes you discover things like, do we need subtitles, the title cards? We ended up having some of them. What do you have to do with your bodies and facial expressions to convey what language typically conveys?
Poor Wayne, I felt so bad for
because one character, one character was supposed to have basically, sorry, little disclaimer, this is a bit disturbing, but
Spoiler alert.
It's basically the Joker, right? Like his face is stuck in a grain. And so originally he thought we would build prosthetics, right? Like a type of makeup. But then he ended up literally just keeping his face in a grain all the time. And he said that by the end of the show, sometimes he could not feel his face anymore.
Oh my goodness.
And he was wondering, am I still grinning or has it gone away? He could not know.
Wow. That was one of those shows that you're the demographic. I don't mean to hammer on the demographic. I don't mean to hammer either. But your demographic really appreciates that kind of a show.
There's this trust, right? At this point, we have created this credibility where, and this is kind of always what I want to say, right, to our listeners today, but in general, just give us one chance.
Yes.
Our ticket pricing are really affordable. And we also actually have a program that I'm not doing a good job enough to advertise. It's called the Angel Seat. Basically, for every opening weekend of every production, there's 10 complimentary tickets that you can claim with no questions asked, no strings attached. You can either send us an email at boxoffice@playersring.org or you show up and you say, I would love an Angel Seat. We don't ask for your name. We don't ask for your email address.
You're kidding me.
No, because we're living in tough times.
Yes.
And sometimes, how can you justify, even if it's only $29, sometimes you cannot make it happen in your daily budget or weekly budget or monthly budget.
Yeah.
And the effects are so positive that we want everybody to experience them.
Yeah, thank you. I want to pick up on that when we get back.
Absolutely.
So hang on just a second. That's a brilliant point. My friends, you are listening to NH Unscripted. Yeah, baby. We are coming to you from the YMCA-like digs of the WKXL studios here in Concord. I can smell the pool chlorine all the way over here. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. We are talking with Margherita Giacobbi about my favorite place, the Players Ring out there in Portsmouth. We will be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. I am your host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the not-so-overly ostentatious digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. Hey, but it does its job. You know what I mean? Margherita is here from the Players Ring. I'm so happy. So I wanted to ask you, so that is fascinating about the free tickets. You want to explain that a little bit more?
So, Angel Seat Initiative. There's 10 complimentary tickets set aside for each production. And we have like 9 shows, right? So we're talking about up to 90 tickets for free in a season. You can reach out ahead of time if you want to reserve yours. Sometimes our shows, thank goodness, do sell out. But you can also just rock up and you say, I would like to use an Angel Seat. On opening weekend, our shows on opening weekend are Friday through Sunday. We have 4 shows. And you're just, if there's availability, you're just sent right in and you can enjoy it.
And these aren't seats like behind a post somewhere, like stuck out there watching it on the TV out in the backyard.
No, absolutely. They are just real seats. Our seating is not assigned because we claim that there's not a bad seat in the house. And what is amazing about our theater is that the theater layout, the set is never the same.
That's correct.
So, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in the round. Sometimes it's on 3 sides. Sometimes it's on a long, kind of narrow corridor. Yeah. You never know what to expect. That's what we promise.
I've been wanting to get out and see more shows in the state, but the ticket price is getting crazy.
It is.
I mean, I'm retired pretty much-ish. $50, $55 a ticket?
I know. And, it is also true that the cost of life for both the patrons and the artists and the materials, everything is increasing, right? Yeah. So when we build our set, lumber is insane,
isn't
right?
It? Yeah.
Also, we want to remunerate our artists decently okay, and so it's really difficult, but that's why, and I don't mean to plug like www.playersring.org/donate, but that's why 30% of our budgets depend on donations. We do need to ask for people who can to support us so that we can keep ticket prices affordable.
Well, we retired people appreciate it, I'll tell you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about the season. So Are we in the beginning of a new season now, or are we at the tail end of the last one?
Great question. So our season starts in September, what we call the main stage season, right? They are those 8 shows that are included in subscription packages, plus our beloved Christmas Carol. That's what we call the main stage. But we are still in the midst of the summer, and we have been having a kind of more varied, uplifting, lighthearted summer. We've had improv and sketch comedy and short plays. In fact, we have an amazing show next weekend, the 21st and the 22nd. It's a collection of 6 short plays by a tremendous playwright, G. Matthew Gaskell.
He's hilarious.
You are in for a treat. He's a local writer, and he has this talent for bizarre, hysterical comedy.
Yes.
Then we are experimenting because, as you said, Ray, we love to take a little risk with a surreal marionette cabaret on the 28th and 29th of August before we dive into the season. And so our season, yes, it runs from September through June. Our productions typically stay on 3 or 4 weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And again, our promise is to always surprise you with a different genre, a different theme, a different visual, a different aesthetic. We open with a comedy, also by G. Matthew Gaskell. It's called As Time Goes By, and basically it's the story of this guy, Billy, who keeps coming back over and over again from the future to prevent someone who is very dear to him from making a choice that he considers really bad.
Okay.
But of course, time travels. Things are supposed to go haywire, and they do. But maybe he's going to learn something along the way.
Maybe, yeah.
And, then going into the month of October, so Halloween, we picked probably one of the most, famous and beloved thrillers and murder mysteries of all time, Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. But again, even if you think you know it, even if you think you've seen it, because our space is so immersive,
so glad you said
and
this.
Intimate and surprising, you will be right there when these people get murdered? Question mark. I don't want to give it away.
If people don't know by now, Margaret.
Exactly. I know. But my director, Ben Bigley, who is also our technical director, says, don't keep saying that, this is what happens.
Sorry, Ben. Spoiler
Sorry,
alert
Ben,
again.
it happened.
People die. There
It
you
happened
go.
on the air. And then we dive into, some bourgeois dramas, Henry Ibsen, Hedda Gabler.
You guys are doing Ibsen?
Yeah, we do Hedda Gabler. But this is actually a more contemporary, fresh translation.
Okay.
And the director is a very young actor, a young director that I'm pretty sure will bring some, contemporary feel and themes to it. The month before, actually, in January, I am so excited because we are presenting the world premiere of a really unique adaptation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There's an element of kind of queer identity to it. Basically, the premise is that Dr. Jekyll is actually fighting something within himself, which is his kind of profound, kind of sexual identity. And that's why he's trying to almost extract it and throw it away. And in this process, in this scientific experimentation that he's doing, that's when Mr. Hyde comes to life. But again, it's not in your face. It's not a commentary about LGBTQ. It's just a beautiful story, still set in Victorian England with top-notch actors, beautiful set, beautiful. So again, maybe you're going to leave and think about something that you were not expecting about this story.
Yep.
And then again, some published titles, but very, not very known, like The Cake by Becca Brunstetter. This is the story that actually is inspired by a real event of, I don't know if you guys will remember, a baker that somewhere in one of the southern states, I don't remember exactly, but basically refused a gay couple for basically a wedding. A wedding cake. But again, very human, the story of this baker and why she's feeling this way, and maybe her journey of change and reflections. So many different titles. There's going to be pure entertainment, farce, chaos, riot, and then reflection and small intimate casts and bigger scale productions, everything you can think of. There's going to be something for someone. For anyone.
For folks who don't know, one of the wonderful things about attending a production at the Players Ring is the intimacy. You've used that word a couple of times, or we have here, but that's very true. What's it seat? 90? 75?
75.
Okay. It's like watching someone do a production in your living room.
Absolutely.
You can see them sweat. You see every crease, every hand movement. When you had mentioned the marionettes, I thought, that is a perfect venue for that.
Absolutely. Because that's the thing, right? You cannot escape you have to be, as a performer, authentic and present all the time.
Oh,
Because if you get distracted, if you start thinking about your shopping list, if you over-exaggerate, right, a facial expression,
great point.
you are gonna, be perceived as non-credible. And the whole suspension of disbelief and the whole magic will clash. Our space almost requires a cinematic type of acting. You know what I mean? Like, it's like watching people, you're so close that, again, you have to be incredibly, incredibly authentic and credible. And that's why we're so proud of our local artists. All of our artists come, I would say, honestly, from Boston more and more, because we are trying to really expand of our reach.
Okay.
But honestly, they're primarily regional actors from Newburyport to South Portland. And we take great pride in contracting over, brace yourself, 300 artists every season. Yeah.
Are you 300?
Yes. Over 300. Do the math, right? Like, we have 9 main stage productions.
Yep.
Each production can have between 2 and 12 actors. And then there's all the directors and the crew and the volunteers. So it's really a big project.
Man, all right. Hang on to that. I have a lot of questions about the whole pitch.
Yes.
Everything.
Would love to share.
Yeah. My friends, you are listening to NH Unscripted. We are coming to you from the Green Acre Lake Digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. No, I do not have Arnold Ziffel here. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans, 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. We're talking about all things Players Ring today. If you've never been out there, boy, you're missing something. We will be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. I know you're hanging on every word. I can feel it right here. We are coming to you from the Hollywood Square Lake Digs of the WKXL studios here in Concord, where I love to sit in that center square. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. So much happens out there. Take a peek when you get a chance. Margherita Giacobbi's in the house from the Players Ring. Margherita, I wanted to, a couple of things I wanted to address here was, we have a friend, Andrew Pernard, who does magic out there.
Yes.
That, in that arena, in that venue is perfect.
It's perfect. We were just so fortunate to have him, actually, this past summer, this past couple of weeks. And people are awed, amazed, stunned. And again, once again, there's no way and no place to hide. Right? So you see that magic, that miracle happen so up close and personal. Yeah. And I mean, also, Andrew has this incredible skill of storytelling and weaving in meaning and history and curious aspects of his job. And so it was really, really memorable. We sold out pretty much every show.
He puts on a show. That man is talented. And you're right. Well, he does all these different versions around the country, stuff. Old, like 1800s magicians.
Yeah, John Harrington. Yeah, Jonathan Harrington. Exactly.
So tell me a little bit, or talk to folks about the whole pitch night kind of thing. How does that work? How many do you just go till it's done, or do you allow so many? How does that work?
Yeah. So again, for our listeners, this is something that, once again, I feel makes us quite unique and different. Typically, theaters have an artistic director, right, that decides, that chooses titles and curates the season. Historically, since the beginning of our theater, which is in 1992, we had a different way to go about it. It's what we call the pitch night. Yes. Basically, we realized that we want to solicit ideas and submissions from the artistic community. So, well, right now, part of the process is digital. It didn't used to be like that before. But between, I would say, middle of October until the end of the year, December, Our website has a place to upload either your script, like your original, right, script, or a play that you think maybe as a director or as an actor or as a playwright would work really well in our space. And we ask you a bunch of questions, right? We say, why do you think it would work well? What is the cast size? What do you think people would get out of it, our audience, and so forth. Then we close submissions and we receive approximately 70, 80 plays to review.
And you got to call them down to 9.
Yes, we have to do that. But what is really helpful is what you refer to as the pitch event. We invite these artists, playwrights, directors, actors, to a live event where they have 2 minutes to do an elevator pitch.
No pressure there.
No pressure. And, they are artists, right?
Sure,
so they know what they're doing.
True.
Some of them read an excerpt. Some of them act out a scene. Some of them simply talk about it, sing a song, and so forth. And it's amazing because the room is full of fellow artists, right? So they get to network and say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this play. Can I come and audition to yours? So it's incredibly thrilling and invigorating. And then the work begins. We have to go back with our 70, 80 scripts, read them all. Every year we gather a group of volunteer readers that help us, right? I read them all. The chair of our artistic committee on the board, Shoni Holmes, read them all. And then we basically use, quote unquote, the feedback of our readers to fact check or to do a reality check on our reactions to the piece. And then, Ray, it's so fascinating because, right, we want to create a season that's really a journey, right? You can't do 9 tragedies, but you also can't do 9 comedies, right? There needs to be a variety, but also, do you want all the stories to take place in a period time? You're right, in the Renaissance or in I don't know, in Victorian London. No, you want something that takes place today and different themes. Again, we love to shift from small casts, maybe 1 or 2, to bigger casts, 10 or 11. And as I told you, which plays give us the opportunity to stimulate conversation and reflection, but also generate a lot of joy. So it's really creating this, again, chemical mix that will translate into a journey that expresses the plurality of our beautiful life.
Man, are there things that would not work there?
We used to say that if there's plays that require a lot of, for instance, complex scene changes, right? From, I don't know, an outdoor place to an indoor. But this is actually not even true, because if you have an incredible design team, creative solutions can be found to anything. Do you actually need to have a plant to believe that you are in a garden? Of course not, right?
Yep.
So I personally prefer smaller cast shows, just because, again, when you guys finally choose to come and, pay a visit, you will realize that, again, our space is so intimate, is so small, that I feel it feels bigger when there's not many people on stage. But at the same time, again, so much depends on the vision of the director, and maybe even a big cast, for instance, and then there were none, will definitely feel right for the space. So I really don't know. We are open to everything. Okay, yes, actually, let me point out that musicals are difficult for us.
I'll bet.
Because we do not like to amplify. There's no need to amplify.
Well, that's an
and as soon as you have, a big orchestration, musical instruments, it really becomes different. And to be fair, there's so many amazing theaters around us, the Oganquit Playhouse, the musical, the Seacoast Rep.
Right.
They do top-notch musicals, so why should we? Let's focus on what we do best, what represents our brand, our identity, and that's plays.
And it's a great venue too, a great format, I should say, for folks who have brand new, never been even probably ever hit a stage.
Absolutely.
Works that that would never get put on at
They wouldn't.
Seacoast Drop until they've had years of, people performing it, and it's been cut, it's been edited,
We take definitely that gamble, right? We invest in this new work. I have to say, over time, we've become more and more demanding. With
In
regards,
what way?
with regards to the type of quality that these unpublished original
I'm
plays
so
need to have,
glad you
in the
said
sense that we want to guarantee to our audiences that no matter if the play is published or unpublished, notorious or completely unknown, they will hear and see an excellent show. Therefore, we cannot really take a gamble on scripts that are in a non-mature stage of development, let's say. But this gives me a great, sequel into something else that I wanted to share with you and our listeners, which is that the Players Ring has a new play development arm. We call it the New Play Lab.
Okay.
Actually, we are so fortunate to collaborate with also your friend, Leslie Pasternak, who is a dramaturg and a writing consultant and actor and director and theater educator. And together, when we receive submissions, we actually look for scripts that are incredibly promising, but maybe not quite ready for prime time.
Yep.
And Leslie Pasternak and us at the Ring, we work one-on-one with this playwright to develop his work.
What?
We read it in front of a live audience. We get feedback from fellow artists.
Idea.
Yeah, this is something that we have been doing consistently for a few years. We typically support 2 new plays per year.
Okay.
And I encourage you to check out it's playersring.org/new-play-lab. And you get to see, of course. And this year, the 2 titles are An Empty Sky by actually a Newburyport-based author, and Ant Wars by a veteran from Virginia who I don't know how found his way to our theater, and
From Virginia.
From Virginia. And so we are incredible. My point is that while we do not take risk on the main stage with new plays need to be flawless and polished and finished, we still have the opportunity to support emerging playwrights.
Ooh, it's huge. My friends, you are listening to NH Unscripted. I know, you got it on autopilot. I know, and I get it. We are coming to you from the dating game-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. Do not try to call me for a date. Just telling you. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans. We are speaking with Margherita Giacobbi from the Players Ring. I am sorry. This old man needs a rest. All right, we got 1 block to go. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. I know you're telling all your friends, gathering everybody around the TV. It's like the old days. I know, so we're not on the TV. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Margherita, could you give us the URL for the Players Ring again?
Absolutely. Playersring.org. O-R-G. Playersring.org.
Thank you.
And yes, so it's really one-stop shop to find out everything about our upcoming shows. But also, because I told you, right, we invite over 300 artists to collaborate. And if we have any actors listening, right, or even playwrights or directors or designers, you can find on our website upcoming opportunities. For instance, we will be casting soon for A Christmas Carol, for Hedda Gabler, for Isabella Metefella. So there's a lot of, opportunities opening up. You can also find out if maybe you have already come and you have already fallen in love with us. Maybe you want to subscribe, right?
Yes.
This is something that once again, gives us the opportunity to offer further discount.
Mm-hmm. I know how you're making any money. You're giving 10 tickets away every show. You've got a discount for subscribers.
I know.
Are you folks making money out there? What the heck?
Making money? No.
All right,
but
all right.
we run a pretty lean operation. We're very, conservative with our spending. So we promise your money is is
what
safe
money's
with
left?
us. What money's left is safe with us. And so, you can kind of take a little leap of faith and say, okay, I'm going to commit to coming to 4 shows or 6 shows, or we have some super loyal subscribers that come for the whole season. And, they get up to 25% discount. But also we invite you sometimes to, as you were saying before, like behind the scenes events or special events and so forth. So we are blessed with a community of patrons that, they know that it's a tiny bit of a gamble, right? You don't know really what to expect, and we like it. We like it that way. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be also, stimulating intellectually, emotionally.
So what, are there tiers to the subscription?
Yeah, it's basically you commit to an amount of shows. So
is there a minimum?
There's minimum is 4.
Okay.
But the beauty is that you do not have to choose which shows you want to come and see when you purchase the package, right? You literally just get, okay, I'm going to get 4. And then you think about it, you maybe see the marketing materials, you see what interests you, and then you choose. You choose your show, your date, your time. So super flexible. Subscribers also get the opportunity to kind of, cancel and reschedule with utmost flexibility. And to us, it means a lot, right? Because again, let's go back and talk about money for a second.
Please.
Having the commitment. Literally also, sorry, this is a little bit technical, but the cash flow, right, that comes in at the beginning of the season because someone is believing in us so much that they say to give us, a 4-show subscription amount at the beginning of the season really sets us up for success.
So are you folks able to get any types of grants? Most theaters don't rely on ticket sales. Obviously, you're giving away half of yours. So Are you able to get grants and stuff to help you out?
For, if you know something about nonprofits, you probably know that a 70%, 30% split between money that you actually earn, tickets, subscriptions, concessions, and 30% of donations is a really healthy balance. And that's exactly what we have at the rate. But that 30% is so important. I have to say, for us, the biggest chunk of that 30% comes from individuals. Donations. And, I used to find it, this is kind of a psychotherapy moment, but I used to find...
Just you and me.
Right? I used to find it hard to ask for donations, ask for money from people. I was not trained as a professional fundraiser, but as the executive director of a nonprofit, it's really an important part of your job. And things have been changing so much by really falling in love with the mission of this theater, seeing how experiencing live theater really sets in motion, in my opinion, a very, very tangible ripple effect of joy and curiosity and openness to the world. I really think that when a person sees one of our shows and then steps out back into the world, they are a more content, more fulfilled, more empathetic human being. And the ripple effect potentially doesn't stop. So going back to the donations, I really feel I have this story to tell. I really feel strongly about the goodness that we do. And of course, there's so many other nonprofits in the world that take care of, if you think about it, more basic foundational necessities like, food security or housing. And I have great admiration. But I also feel that a life without joy, without entertainment, without intellectual stimulation, beauty is also not as worth living. And so I feel I can make a very compelling case. And again, if you step into the theater like you did, you realize, oh my gosh, I want to support these guys. And it doesn't have to be through money. We welcome volunteers, right? All of our front of house personnel is all volunteer. We have 200 shows per season, right?
What?
Yes.
200, 200.
Yes, we open the door 200 times in a year.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I can't be
That's
there.
almost
for
every weekend.
It is.
It is every week.
Every weekend for 4 or 5
Wow.
times. Yes. So
My
again,
goodness.
maybe you do that, or maybe if you have a company, right, you can donate in kind materials, lumber,
brilliant.
rugs, props.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways to be engaged. You can serve on our board, but of course, right, sponsorships, donations, they are really, really vital for us.
Are there any shows so you've looked over the list of what's coming up, any that you're like really, really excited for people to see?
Something that I was, preparing on the way here this morning, and something that is so unique and so bizarre, and that I promise you will not have a chance to see anywhere else, is a show we have in April. It's called Isabella Metefella. So I'm Italian, right? Like if my accent hasn't given me away by now, right?
Never noticed it.
Right?
Never noticed it.
So this is a farce, almost like a slapstick comedy that actually draw inspiration from a type of comedy that we created in Italy in the 1400s. It's called Commedia dell'arte. I don't know if you have ever heard of characters like Arlecchino or Colombina or Pantalone. So these are masks, right? The old miser, the cunning servant, the romantic, couple. And these guys basically meet in this like hysterical context where all sort of like misunderstandings and unreturned love and confusion happens. And it's just so much fun. But what is fantastic is that this is for us an opportunity to reconnect with our past, because our founder, Gary Newton, who now passed, he founded the theater with his wife, Barbara Newton, who is still with us on the board. They used to present Commedia dell'arte, but they called it Commedia al dente on a weekly basis.
Missed the translation, did they?
Right? And so it's really a way to educate, in a way, our audience about this very unique old type of comedy that's actually like Punch and Judy. Imagine that.
That's what it is.
But
yes.
it's so much fun. And so it's something that maybe if you read about it, you would say, I don't know. Should I take a gamble? And my invitation is to really give it a go.
I'm wondering how the 2-minute pitch night went on that. How do you get that across and say, in 2 minutes?
I know, it's hard. But, sometimes you're blessed with an artist or a director that you trust so much. And this is the case for David Kay. He's a professor at UNH. He's a great connoisseur of this type of comedy. And so we said, you know what? If this incredible artist wants to work with us, we are excited to welcome him. Yeah.
Tell me about Christmas Carol a little bit.
Yes, thank you for asking, because, again, you may think, our listeners may think that, they know Christmas Carol over and over again. Every single theater in the region, in the world, does it.
Correct.
But I can guarantee you that for the past 35 years, which is the duration of the history of the Players' Ring, we have every year presented a different adaptation, a different setting, a different design, different cast, different vision. It's original, it's new, it's fresh. You will leave thinking, oh my goodness, I have never heard this story this way. And I'm going away surprised and mesmerized.
That is the Players' Ring in a nutshell.
It is. Being able to be innovative even with stories that are total classics.
Yeah. Can you give us your URL one more time?
Yes, playersring.org.
Thank you very much. My friends, you have been listening to NH Unscripted. Yeah, we are one toke over the line, sweet Jesus. But hey, it's where we live. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans. Kids, 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. What have I told you before? Get out, go have dinner, go see a play. Portsmouth is beautiful for that. Go to the Players' Ring. Thank you, Margherita.
Thank you so much. See you guys there.
Yes.